what up, Ree here. Re up, motherfuck. Thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate all you guys. Thank you for subscribing. That it's really nice to see that other people enjoy the things I do too, even though maybe the majority of society doesn't, right? But it's nice to have a little group that way, because I have a lot of information to bring you. So there's a lot that I can't put on YouTube that I learned. Sometimes I'm shocked at the things that I read, at that I find. But sometimes you find the right things because I like to learn about absolutely everything. And sometimes it breaks down the barriers of what you actually believed. And by gaining the knowledge about it, so that kind of takes me into certain things that are a bit taboo. That may seem a bit taboo, but are only that way because of our social conditioning. So, what do I mean by that? Well, I've talked before about sex magic, and sex magic goes into another ritual which are blood rituals. And I'm going to talk about your blood. Like, I'm not going to get into the whole all blood rituals and stuff like that. Not on YouTube. They're just going to take it down anyways. So, but I'm going to help you understand what your blood is and why certain things are happening and why occult rituals work. It's because of your body. Now, your body is sophisticated, like I said in the previous video, that it's not a meat suit. It's a sophisticated device meant for you to use in order and use to manifest and create your own life, right? But they want you to believe that, it's nothing, but it's very sophisticated. And one element of it is your blood. Now, your blood has iron in it. So when your blood is like a magnet, that's how you can attract certain things to you. That's why the wording in a lot of our things that we use, wording such as when we're talking about money, money is currency. We go to a bank, you usually see a bank by a river. Things like that. It's because everything is like, that's why law of attraction, everything is like a magnet to itself, but they don't, like, the law of attraction doesn't break it down completely. Now, you can go look at the works. A lot of this came to light to me through the works of sorceress. Let me make sure I pronounce her name right, because she's written over like 40 books pertaining to this subject. And I think if you want to learn anything about the occult, you should go check out her books. Sorceress Cagliostro. I'm going to put the name down there because I don't want to disrespect her in any way, because of my lack of being able to pronounce things in other languages. But amazing occultist and sorceress. So anyways, she really breaks down what it does in a scientific way, because she's the blood sorceress, right? So you kind of understand what the blood does and why your body is so sophisticated. Also, it has to do with the water in your body as well. So when you're doing certain rituals, what you're doing is just charging your energy. You're charging yourself. And the fact that the blood has iron in it, it's showing you how your energy is charging your blood. And this is why our blood is needed by the government all the time. This is why different things you'll see, they're always asking for our body fluid, because our body fluid is what we use to create. And they don't want to tell us that. Same as sex magic, because we're taught that sex is some perverted thing and you're supposed to use it for lust. And that's not what you're supposed to use it for. Like, you can use it for lust, of course. Like, that's what we're here for, is to enjoy our life here. But the problem is we're only using it for lust, and you're supposed to use it to manifest. Like, sex is not, it's a tool. Like, sexual energy is a tool. So, and we put so many like religion and so many different things has made sex to the point that it's you're not using it for what it is. So it's the same as your blood. Your blood has a charge within it. So that's why your body and how you're able to manifest. I'm not going to go into the part what happens once your blood is outside your body, because that is another thing that people use to create as well. But I'm going to talk about how when it's within your body, how powerful it is. And one aspect of that is when you're meditating, you're you're charging your frequency. Okay, it's like you're working out, you're finding these frequencies and you're opening up these doors, so then now the energy can flow properly. And so when you become magnetized and you're thinking about what you want at the same time, to the point that it's not that you have to believe it. It's not you having to believe it. It's you charging that energy. So that's why certain energies, you have to have a certain vibration. So that's why people use sex in order to manifest, because it's such a powerful energy. It creates life. Our energy is so powerful that I could look at somebody, right? It's so magnetic. It's so that I could look at them and then they could be turned on. And then in 2 other minutes, we could have created a life because of that magnetic energy. And that had nothing to do. I don't even have to touch them. Nothing. These are the things you learn in depth when you become um, either deep into sex magic or you practice it like I did in the strip club. So, but these are the things, right? So it's that powerful. It's that powerful. And you just need to have a very strong emotion in order to create something. That's where the law of attraction doesn't tell you. They just like she says, in like the sorceress says in her book, she says that the people, they just give you the law of attraction so that you just keep coming back, which is why, yes, it's totally true. This is why you always see people come. And that's why I always say it's not, this isn't the law of attraction. They ain't telling you shit, because they aren't. They want you to be a repeat customer, just like therapy. Therapy shouldn't even be a thing. You you can go to an astrologist, you could go to a numerologist, and it will tell you. I could tell you way more about yourself than you doing this 10 years, 20 years of therapy, where they're just asking you, how do you feel? On a scale to 1 to 10, how do you feel today? Really? And why do you think that happened? And then they just ask you questions and then it's like, okay, book another session. They don't tell you anything about you. I could sit down with you just based on your numbers or just based on your nickname. I could tell you shit about yourself by translating that into numbers, or translating that into Hebrew and then translating that again into numbers or gematria or whatever. Like real gematria, not the one that you're seeing online that's decoding sports, because that's not the real shit. Like the real ones that numerologists know. But all this is to get you away from yourself. Now, your blood is so powerful that that's why when you're creating this charge and you're creating this huge energy in order to manifest, it's the same as when you're upset. I don't know if a lot of intuitive people have found that they'll go somewhere. And for myself, when I would go in the studio, a lot of the times all of a sudden I would go there and the equipment stopped working. And they're like, oh no, it's frozen. This never happened. It would always, I would go, wherever I would go, things would crash. And they're like, no, this has never ever happened. Why is this? It's because of my energy, right? Because you start affecting electronics because you have this magnetism, because I was meditating all the time, which I am now. But I mean, like when I first started, I started noticing these things more and more, right? Things like that. Another experience that I recently experienced, and which puts everything together after I read the sorceress's book, I like it made sense, because I was sitting there and I was upset, and I was like very upset, like I was crying, and I normally don't cry. Like when I get upset, it feels like things are about to happen, because my energy is usually very high. So when I upset, and then all of a sudden, there's a thing that has on your ceiling, and then you'll have like a hooks or whatever, a thing, and then so you can hang your pants. Well, I had one hanging there, and then while I was upset, it moved. Like the whole thing went up, and I wasn't the only one who witnessed it, because if I was the only one, my ego would have dismissed it and say, "Oh, maybe you saw something or whatever." I wasn't the only one who witnessed it. The other person was like, "Oh my God." Like they're like, "Whoa, so is something in the room, something." So I was trying to think, I'm like, was it me? Because I've noticed a lot of situations that I can affect reality. And after that, and reading the book and realizing it's the iron, I realized, because I was wondering, because there's two things on the ceiling, and I was wondering why it affected that one and not the other one. That one was the only one with the iron pans. So it was the pans that were affected. That was the closest thing that was iron. So if you look at things in a scientific way instead of a religious way or a brainwashing type way, like how our social conditioning is, and you look at it like, okay, maybe we weren't taught the science, the actual science. Maybe we weren't, and we already know that that's true, but we weren't taught the actual science, and maybe it is just science. The occult is just science. And think of it this way, and then there are ways to create. All you need is within, like they say, but maybe that's your blood. Maybe that's your blood, the water you have, your energy within. That's all you need. It's more than just what the law of attraction calls having good, positive thoughts. That's not going to get you any. You can have positive thoughts all day, but if you don't have the energy to go with that, to charge it, it's not going to work. Like not that none of that's going to work. And you could buy 20 million law of attraction books and it's still not going to work, but they'll make tons of money off of you. And that's the whole point. It's not about curing you, because if they don't want you to see your power, so they want you to always believe, even when something good happens, it's something outside yourself that did that, instead of giving yourself credit. Because the more credit you give yourself, the more self-confidence you have in the ability to do whatever you want in life. Like, listen, I know people in the occult, and people, like, especially from the books I read, from everything, it's like, once you learn certain things, you're not in society anymore. So you're not worried about the things that everybody else is worried about, because you know your own power and you have your own confidence to manifest whatever you want. You can manifest whatever. So you're able to not be a victim to society, or a victim, because really you're a victim to yourself. Is really what it is. You stop being in victim mode and you start realizing that, hey, I created all the things in my life, the good and the bad, and I don't have to wait for a savior, and there's no demon after me either. So you know so those are just some things that I've observed. That you probably observed other things, maybe it make you think about some things that you've seen, um, especially when it comes, like there are things that energies outside of ourselves, but those are energies, right? Like when something of a huge vibration happens, if something's really traumatizing, or there's like a murder or something, like there is energies do get trapped in certain places, but it doesn't have to affect you if your energy is high. You have to keep your energy high. And most people are just busy working, constantly working, and trying to get everything outside of themselves, depleting their energy, having no energy to even manifest anymore, and then everything starts going down. Yeah, because you're not replenishing your energy in order to manifest. It's not outside. You don't work to get money, you work inside, and then that attracts the money. You're a magnet. You're literally a magnet. So it's way easier than you think, but you have to focus on what you want, not what you don't want, and that's the problem. Nobody's focusing on what they want and then putting the energy behind it. You have to put a huge energy behind it if you want it to manifest right away and believe it. So yeah, that's just a quick occult lecture. All right, I love all y'all, and re up, motherfucker. All right.